Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 18th of September. With McShane reading our way through 1 Kings. Today we read chapter 21, the story of Naboth's vineyard. King Ahab, in his palace in Samaria, wants some land. And so he goes to Naboth, who has a vineyard, and he says to him, "Let me have your vineyard to use for a vegetable garden, since it is close to my palace. In exchange, I will give you a better vineyard. Or if you prefer, I will pay you whatever it is worth." Now, as I read that, I thought that's sensible, that's reasonable, that's a good deal from Naboth's perspective. Sell the vineyard, you get a better one. You're getting 1,000 litres of wine, you're going to get 1,200 litres of wine, whatever it is. It's a sensible a request from the king. However, Naboth replied, "The Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my fathers." And as I read that, I thought, here is somebody who has a completely different perspective. Ahab and I look at the land and think, what is it worth in terms of agriculture and productivity? That's its value. Naboth looks and says the value isn't financial, the value is in terms of our family and what God has given us in our inheritance. And therefore, that's something you can't exchange, because this is our family land. And as I read that, I thought, how many problems in our lives and in society and amongst people aren't caused because people have different perspectives on an issue. They have different value systems, different ways of seeing things. And therefore, when you talk about an issue, because you're approaching it from completely different angles, you're not going to have agreement, because the issue, while you think it's selling a vineyard, the issue is the vineyard. What is it worth? And that's where the disagreement starts. And we often need to just step back, interrogate it further, and think more deeply so that we can find perspectives, and then we could find an agreement. King Ahab doesn't bother. He sulks. His wife goes, has Naboth executed, and gives the property to the king. A prophet then comes and judges the king and says, "God's seen what you've done. You've stolen this land. You've killed somebody. God's going to destroy your family." And in the midst of that, Ahab repents. We're told, when Ahab heard these words, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and fasted. He lay in sackcloth and went around meekly. And I thought, what a complex individual. He behaves in one way, and now suddenly the word of God comes to him, and he repents. And it just made me realize people are never one-dimensional, and we need always to allow for people to be complex, because that's what we are. And as we live alongside and deal with people, as we deal with ourselves, we recognize that humanity, we are complex beings, only fully known by God. Certainly I very seldom even know myself properly. And that's part of the challenge of our life in society. So be encouraged to seek perspective and to allow complexity in people. And as we do that, lives will be easier, and we will know we're blessed.